Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Throughout human history, there have been individuals whose words transcend time. Their wisdom guides hearts, reforms societies, and transforms individuals into better human beings. Among these extraordinary personalities stand one of the greatest figures Islam has ever known, Ali bin Abi Talib, the commander of faithful, the lion of God, the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the first Imam of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. His words were not ordinary statements, they were reflection of divine wisdom, deep spiritual understanding, and unmatched insight into human nature. These teachings were later compiled into one of the most celebrated books of Islamic literature, Nahj al-Balagha, meaning the peak of eloquence. This book contains sermons, letters, and short sayings of Imam Ali alayhi salam, each one filled with profound wisdom. Today we will gonna explore the one of the wisdom from Nahj al-Balagha, which is from Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam. And the first wisdom we will gonna look through is that the Imam Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam said, "He who adopts greed as a habit devalues himself." At first glance, the sentence appears simple, but when we reflect deeply upon it, we realize that it contains a powerful psychological, moral, and spiritual lesson about the nature of human dignity. The single line exposes one of the greatest weaknesses of the human soul, greed. Understanding the meaning of the quote, when Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam said that he who adopts greed as a habit devalues himself, he is speaking about something deeper than simply wanting more wealth. Greed is not just desire. Desire is natural. Greed is when desire controls the soul. Greed occurs when person becomes so obsessed with gaining more money, more power, more status, that he sacrifices his dignity, morality, and principles. According to Imam Ali alayhi salam, the greatest loss of a person can experience is not poverty. The greatest loss is losing one's self-respect. A greedy person gradually lower his own value in the eyes of others and in the sight of God. He becomes willing to compromise his integrity for personal gain, and once dignity is lost, wealth cannot restore it. Why Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam's word carried such authority? Before we dive before we dive deeper into the lesson, we must remember who Imam Ali alayhi salam was. He was not merely a philosopher giving theoretical advice. He was a man who lived a life of extraordinary sacrifice, courage, and justice. He was raised in the house of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the first male to accept Islam. He slept in the Prophet's bed on the night of migration, risking his life. He fought bravely in battles such as Battle of Badr, Battle of Uhud, and the Battle of Khaybar, where his courage became legendary. Yet, despite possessing immense power and authority when he became the fourth caliph, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam lived one of the simplest lives imaginable, unimaginable. His clothes were patched. His food was simple, bread and salt. He would personally carry sacks of food at night to feed the poor and orphans. This is why when Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam warns humanity about greed, his words carry the weight of personal integrity. He practiced what he preached. Let us understand what is the nature of greed. Greed is one of the most dangerous diseases of the human heart. It begins subtly. Person wants a little more money, then a little more success, then a little more influence. Soon the desire becomes endless. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam once said that the word is like seawater. The more a thirsty person drinks from it, the thirstier he becomes. Greed functions in exactly the same way. It promises satisfaction but delivers only deeper hunger. A greedy person may possess millions, yet he still feels poor, and he fears losing what he has, and he envies those who have more. He lives in a constant dissatisfaction. Thus, greed does not elevate a person, it enslaves him. Let us look some historical example, the greed of Qarun. A famous example of greed is found in the story of Qarun. Qarun was an extremely wealthy man from the people of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. His treasure keys were so heavy that multiple strong men were required just to carry them. But instead of showing gratitude, Qarun became arrogant. He believed his wealth came solely from his own intelligence. He looked down upon others. Eventually, his greed and arrogance led to his destruction. The Quran describes how the earth swallowed him along his wealth. This story perfectly illustrates the wisdom of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib's statement. Qarun had immense riches, but because of greed, he lost the most valuable thing, his honor and his place in history. Today, his name is remembered not as a hero, but as a warning. And let us take the moral example in everyday life as we hold upon Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam in every aspect of our life. So let us bring this lesson into our daily lives. Imagine two people working in a same company. One works honestly, he earns a moderate salary, he treats others with respect, he is content with lawful income. The second person, obsessed with promotion and money, he begins lying. He manipulated colleagues, he spread rumors, he betrayed trust. Eventually, he might gain more wealth or position, but what has he lost? His colleagues no longer trust him. His reputation is damaged. His inner peace disappears. And according to Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib's wisdom, the second person has devalued himself. His greed has reduced his moral worth. And psychological impact of greed, if you see the psychological impact of greed, the modern psychology surprisingly confirms what Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam taught more than 1400 years ago. Studies show that people driven purely by material gain, the people who are driven purely by material gain often experience greater stress, lower life satisfaction, weaker relationships, and higher anxiety levels. And that is why greed traps people in an endless cycle of comparison, and they constantly measure themselves against others. Instead of gratitude, they experience envy, and instead of peace, they experience fear. Thus, greed damages not only morality but also mental health. And Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam's life as the opposite of greed. And he says, and it is like if greed lowers person's value, generosity elevates it. And few figures in history embodied generosity like Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. They are countless stories of his companions. One night, while serving as caliph, he was seen carrying a heavy sack of flour in his back. Someone offered carry it for him. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib replied, will you carry my burden on the day of judgment? He personally delivered food to the widows and orphans in the night in Kufa. Often they did not even know the identity of the person helping them. Only after his martyrdom did many of them realize that the mysterious helper had been the caliph himself. This level of humility and generosity shows why Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam's teachings are so powerful. And he was not simply advising people to avoid greed, he demonstrated the highest form of selflessness and practical implementation of this wisdom. If you look at this, so how can we apply Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib teachings in our lives? There are several practical steps. First, we have to cultivate the gratitude. A grateful person appreciates what he has instead of obsessing over what he lacks. Secondly, practicing generosity. Giving charity weakens the grip of greed on the heart. Thirdly, remember the temporary nature of worldly possessions. Wealth, status, and fame do not accompany us to the grave. And last and least, focus on character development. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam repeatedly emphasized that true wealth lies in knowledge, virtue, and faith. When a person invests in these qualities, he becomes truly valuable. And this is how Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam teaches us. And it is impossible to discuss wisdom, justice, and courage without mentioning the unmatched character of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Even non-Muslim historians have admired his personality. They describe him as a warrior with the heart of saint, a ruler who lived like a poor man, a judge whose decisions were guided by perfect justice, a scholar whose knowledge amazed both friends and opponent. His sermons in Nahj al-Balagha are considered masterpiece of Arabic eloquence. But more importantly, they are manuals of building ethical human beings. Every line reflects deep understanding of human psychology and spirituality. When Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam speaks about anger, greed, patience, justice, or humility, he is speaking as someone who mastered these virtues in his own life. And last but not least, the final reflection of this wisdom: he who adopts greed as a habit devalues himself. In a world obsessed with wealth, competition, status, this teaching reminds us of our timeless truth. A human dignity does not come from what we possess, it comes from who we are. And greed reduces the soul, generosity elevates it, integrity strengthens it, and faith purifies it. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam wisdom continues to illuminate hearts more than 14 centuries after his life. His words guide us not only towards personal success but towards moral excellence and spiritual growth. May we strive to embody the noble character he taught us, and may the wisdom of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam continue to inspire humanity for generations to come. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.